Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 5 after 10. Thank you all for joining us here today for a Scytec DataXchange machine monitoring webinar. The title of this morning's webinar is The High Cost of Common Manufacturing Issues and How DataXchange Helps. So the first thing I'd like to do is go over the order of events for this morning webinar. The first thing that we are going to be discussing is the common issues for manufacturers and their costs, and how the tools inside of Scytec DataXchange machine monitoring solve those issues, as well as examples of the solutions and feature set inside of DataXchange and what kind of data that they present. We will also be discussing other ways that Scytec DataXchange helps manufacturers, what some of our clients have experienced, and then at the end, we will have a short demonstration of Data Display, which is our mobile and browser-based reporting tool for machine monitoring, as well as a quick description of the other upcoming webinars and where you can find DataXchange out in the wild for some upcoming trade shows where we will be doing some live demonstration of how machine monitoring works. Now, normally we like to keep these close to about a half an hour, and this one might run over just a little bit. So if you're here and you're on a kind of time constraint or anything like that, you can find these in our newsletter if you're subscribed to that, as well as we host these on our website and YouTube. So we host these on a monthly basis, and it's something topically related to manufacturing as well as machine monitoring. And let's go ahead and get right into it. So the number one issue affecting manufacturers in modern manufacturing these days is unplanned downtime. And unplanned downtime is an unexpected stop in machine production. And it's caused by issues such as mechanical failures, tooling breakage, programming errors, material shortages, and also operator interruptions. Unlike scheduled maintenance or planned changeovers, unplanned downtime disrupts workflow, reduces throughput, and can lead to missed deadlines, increased labor costs, and lower overall equipment effectiveness. So with each one of these slides, I'm going to be talking about a very common issues that manufacturers experience and what that costs them. So the cost of unplanned downtime for manufacturers is poor cycle time performance, bottlenecks, and missed quotas. And then as well as what that costs manufacturers is what the solution is inside of Scytec DataXchange and its reports or chart features. So the charts that can be found in Scytec DataXchange that solve unplanned downtime is the summary chart, the timeline chart, and the downtime Pareto chart. And I'll also be showing you some of these charts in both a PowerPoint slide as well as a demonstration at the end. And the only one that I'm really going to be discussing here is the unplanned downtime. I'm not going to be going into all of these because I'm sure you're aware of what all of them are and what they mean to your production environment. So what we are looking at here is a equipment status summary chart that can be found in Data Display, which, as I said, is our mobile and browser-based reporting tool. So everything that you are looking at here is a given machine status for a reported time. And this is all of the machine statuses in a single day. And what you're looking at over there in that smaller outline box is a saw machine. And when you hover over one of the colors that you see, it'll show you a representation of what that machine status was, how long it transpired, and the percentage of time that it elapsed in terms of your available time. So all of the colors that you see there on the far right, that longer box that is outlined, you see all the different machine status that will be represented in this equipment status summary chart, including tooling, quality, no material, an M0 pause, excess setup, alarm setup, breaks, unknown downtime, etc. So this is our equipment status summary chart. This is one of our more popular charts, and it's one of the more useful ones for eliminating the unknown and unplanned downtime that you have out on your shop floor. Now, the other issues that affect manufacturers and how DataXchange solves them that I'm going to be covering here next is excessive setup and changeover times, undetected equipment and environmental issues, scrap and rework, and an overall lack of historic and real-time visibility into your shop floor production. So next up that I'm going to be discussing is the undetected equipment and environmental issues. And what this costs manufacturers like yourself is higher maintenance costs and quality defects as well as lost time. Now, DataXchange can automatically collect alarms and their codes and a description of those alarms. DataXchange can also monitor specific conditional machine statuses like humidity and temperature from machine sensors. And a couple examples and use cases of this from clients that use DataXchange is we have a client who monitors their atmosphere in their environment for if and when they need to shut down. So if like the humidity gets too high or something like that and they need to shut down, they can do so. And this is achieved with our status relay controller, which is a pre-programmed PLC device that is cost effective that ships from Scytec headquarters ready to work with your equipment. Now, some of the things that I bring up in this webinar that I only kind of delve into a little bit, rest assured we have plenty of information about this on our website, and we also more than likely have a specific webinar that goes into way more depth and detail about this. So if you're interested about how we can connect to machine sensors and fabrication equipment, as well as older legacy machines and manual machines, we can do that with our SRC device that you can find out more information on by requesting a demo or by going on to our YouTube or Scytec.com website to find the SRC webinar. Now, we also have another client that uses DataXchange to measure the temperature in their environment. So if it gets too hot, there's no contraction of any raw materials. So they use a thermocouple that they can pull information off of a sensor and can decide if it's, too hot to be cutting the machine so that they don't warp or anything like that. And we also have the ability to monitor fire suppression systems. So the specific charts and reports that can be found inside of Scytec DataXchange that can alleviate your undetected equipment and environmental issues are for charts. We have an alarm detail chart and alarm Pareto and downtime Paretos charts as well. And the reports that can alleviate these issues are the alarm details, alarm summaries, scheduled downtime reports for routine maintenance, as well as holidays where you guys won't be working. So this here is an alarm view inside of our real-time viewer, which is a 100% user configurable dashboard for really anything that you need to have presented. And I want you to think about this like if it was out on a TV in your shop floor and it would kind of cycle through a bunch of different views showing you different metrics that you would need to be shown. So this here is a specific alarm view, and the view that you see up there on the top shows things like equipment name, the alarm type, the alarm code, the alarm description, the duration, the quantity, and some other metrics as well. And as I said, this is all automatically gathered by DataXchange data collection rules. And then below that, you can find out information about the alarm Paretos by time and by occurrence. I'm going to show you another Pareto here in a second right now. This is our equipment status downtime Pareto chart. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Pareto rule, it basically states that 80% of the issues affecting your shop floor can be solved by going after the biggest hitters over there. So that 80-20 rule, if you're familiar with that, if you eliminate 20% of those big issues, it'll solve 80% of the other issues going out on your shop floor. So we have, going from left to right with this little chart here, the biggest issues starting with the M0, waiting for operator pauses, and then breaks, going from there to tooling, alarm, etc. And then when you hover over the specific bar that you see there, it can give you some more information like the total duration, the occurrences, and how much of that accumulates for the percent of downtime as well. And then over there on the right-hand side, you can see the representation of those machine statuses with their corresponding colors. So as I said, we have our M0, our brakes, our tooling, etc., that you can see represented with this equipment status Pareto chart. Next up, we have scrap and rework as being a major issue that affects manufacturers like yourself. And the cost for this is wasted material, lost labor, and time. And this can be costly when it's not tracked. So DataXchange can track good and scrap part counts in real time with the equipment view, which is one of 3 of our real-time viewers. You can also get notifications instantly via Microsoft Teams, email, or text when a program has finished, alerting you when all your parts are been finished. And you also have the ability to track ideal times in DataXchange with the ability to import them from a template. And this includes ideal cycle times for parts. And the reports that can help you out and alleviate these scrap and rework issues include part count reports, work order summaries, part counts by shift, utilization, program numbers, and work order operations. So what we have here is a screenshot of our part count report. And you can see that we have a Makino machine as the reported equipment, the part numbers that it has been working on, as well as columns for their good part, scrap part, and quality percentages. And this is all of the reported metrics over a 2-week period of time for this report. Next up, I'm going to be discussing excessive setup and changeover times. And the cost of this for manufacturers is lower utilization rates and machines not running as scheduled. And as I mentioned in the previous slides, you can track ideal setup times in Scytec DataXchange by importing from a template. You can also manually fill them out in our desktop configuration application. You can integrate with your ERP via the DataXchange API and track excessive setup and notify personnel with our supplemental application, the ODI, and that stands for the Operator Data Interface. It is available on our silver licensing level. And to give you a kind of very brief description of what the ODI does is DataXchange can automatically collect a lot of information from your machines automatically with our data collection rules, but there are just some things that you're not going to be able to get to receive your true OEE, such as, like let's say a part on the machine breaks or your operator goes out for a longer than expected lunch or break or something like that. You can track all that information with the ODI, which is a supplemental application that is housed on a smart tablet that you can have out next to your machine for operators that are working inside of a cell. You also have the ability for parts per hour percentages in real times with a targeted goal that you can have tracked with our real-time equipment view. And the reports and charts that alleviate these excessive and the excessive setup and changeover times is for report is we have an operation times report, average operation times and efficiency to date reports, as well as charts that alleviate these issues with the target utilization chart and the utilization per periods, as well as a trend utilization chart. So everything that you see inside of Scytec DataXchange is available in both a visual format with our charts, as well as a more numerical representation with the reports feature set. So this here is an OEE per period chart, report showing the equipment, the date. You can also filter that by shifts. And this will show you your percentages for the metrics that go into OEE, which include availability, performance, quality, and then your overall equipment effectiveness OEE column there as well on the far right. So this here is our target utilization chart. So the little blue dots that you see here are their user-determined utilization rates that you set. As I might have mentioned earlier, everything in Scytec DataXchange is 100% user-definable by the rules that you set. And we help you out with all this in the beginning with your onboarding process. We ask you about, the issues that are affecting your shop floor, and we help you learn DataXchange so that you can set these up so that you are tackling these issues effectively. So what this is showing us here with this target utilization chart is, like I said, the blue dots that you see are your user-defined utilization rates that you set. And that if you see the color green, that means you are either on your utilization target or above it. And the yellow bars that you see means that you're a little bit below your target, and that you can probably go out there and kind of quickly fix those so that you meet those utilization rates. And then the red bars that you see means that you are kind of way off your utilization rates, and you need to go out there and fix whatever issues that are affecting your shop floor equipment. And finally, and this is kind of the most broad issue that manufacturers have, is the lack of visibility into their shop floor performance. And the cost of this is reactive decision making instead of proactive solution, instead of making proactive data-driven decisions. So there's a lot of things that Scytec DataXchange provides in terms of, visibility into your shop floor performance. That is the overall goal of Scytec DataXchange machine monitoring. But you can receive instant notifications for any defined event or rule that you set, including escalation tactics. And the one I like to use a lot is, let's say after a half an hour of machine downtime, you get a notification to your operator telling them in either Microsoft Teams, email, or text message to go out and find out whatever is going on with that machine in terms of its downtime. And then after an hour, for escalation tactics, you can have a supervisor get notified, and then after that, after 2 hours or something, you could have a manager. So you have the ability for escalation tactics when you are dealing with machine downtime. You also have the ability to have scheduled charts and reports sent directly to your inbox on a user-determined basis. So this means that you go and you do all the filtering for the stuff that you want to have presented in one of these manufacturing charts. This will then get sent to an email for what you determine, so that, let's say you have you get into work at 7:30, that you can have a equipment status summary chart emailed to you at 7:30, so you can go and see the previous day's machine statuses. So at 8 o'clock or something like that, maybe you have a production meeting, or maybe you go out and do a Gemba walk or something like that, that you go into that meeting equipped and well informed about the previous day's events. We also have real-time machine status dashboards, including the equipment view, the real-time lists, and the equipment summation. That, like I said, you can kind of view these out on a TV in your shop floor. I'm going to be showing you one of these here in just a minute, with all the necessary metrics being reported. Historical reporting, as well as in the forms of charts like the equipment status summary that I showed you earlier, reporting options that I showed you, and I mentioned the ODI as well for capturing downtime reason for operators that cannot be automatically collected off machines. So that's just reiterating some of the stuff that I talked about earlier. And as I said, the broad goal of DataXchange is to expose machine data to make sure that manufacturers like yourselves are out there tackling issues that are bottlenecking your production. So I mentioned earlier that, and I'm going to show you guys here this in my demonstration, is we have the ability to save these charts and reports so that they are sent to you. You can see that in that long kind of rectangle image there up at top. I'll show you where this is in our demonstration, but this can be found on our data display landing page. And what you have here in the center with that vertical image is our notification feature set. This is from Microsoft Teams. And this can show you that, like, we have a Tsugami machine that has been in an unknown downtime. So that can alert you when you're experiencing machine downtime via Microsoft Teams to go out and attend to that specific piece of equipment that you get that Microsoft Teams email or text notification about. So I'd also like to discuss here real quick other ways that DataXchange helps. We also offer very appealing industry integrations via ERP as well as Vericut. So for those of you that utilize digital twins, we offer CNC Machine Connect for Vericut, which is 3 different modules that promise to give manufacturers the best digital twins possible. There's a whole lot to go into that, but if you go to our YouTube page, as well as our website, you can find out more about CNC Machine Connect, which is our integration to Vericut. And we also do integrate with ERP, which I mentioned earlier, and the data exchange integration with your ERP platform, such as JobBoss, can allow for the tracking of ideal times for parts, giving manufacturers true OEE data. So the other thing I kind of mentioned earlier is the endless configurability with Data Exchange. And Data Exchange charts and dashboards are endlessly configurable. Everything in Data Exchange is 100% user-defined rules that you set. And there are a assortment of pre-configured rules inside of Data Exchange from the get-go that are kind of canned, letting you kind of get up and going with Data Exchange. And if you have any issues with that, Scytec professionals are here to help you set up those rules to solve your specific problems, and we help you out with that during your onboarding. So we don't just get you to sign on the dotted line and then it's all out there on your own. And I'll tell you about our help website at the end of this, and some other cool things that we offer via the Data Exchange machine monitoring platform. And our RTV, our real-time viewer, is we have a web portal view that can show things like web pages, Microsoft documents, and employee portals. I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. We also have our shop floor layout in the real-time viewer, where you can see machine status and more from a configured view of your shop floor equipment, where you can use any image to kind of show you a bird's eye view of your shop floor equipment status and the necessary metrics that you're looking for, and our real-time equipment view. And I'm going to show you all these here in just a second. And the real-time equipment view shows specific real-time data points. So what we're looking at here is our shop floor layout. And as I said, the more common one is a bird's eye view, a kind of top-down schematic of your production facility, and you can use any image. So what we're looking at here is a simulated production environment showing machines. So if we're going in a clockwise motion, we have a Mazak machine that, based off its green color there in that top right corner, you can see that it is cutting. It is in a normal cycle, as well as the part number that it is working on. Next to that, we have a Morisaki machine that is currently in a planned downtime break, as well as the part number that that's working on, so on and so forth with the other machines that you see there. Now, you can also have radically different shop floor layouts. Next up is we have another RTV shop floor layout showing 3D equipment, showing the same metrics as in the previous slide. But in this one, we have a Siemens 840D as well as a Fanuc 31i machine, showing us the current status of the machine. So that Fanuc has been in an unknown downtime. The Siemens 840D is in a high override, how long those machine statuses have transpired, the specific part numbers they're working on, the amount of part counts that they've been working on, as well as the feed rate overrides. Next up, we have a Excel document. As I said, you can have the ability to put Microsoft Excel documents inside of the RTV. This one is a production cost Excel next to the equipment status summary and target utilization charts. And as I said, these are all user configurable, so you can kind of have these customized to your heart's desire with the RTV inside of Scytec DataXchange Machine Monitoring. And then finally, what we have here is a very interesting dashboard that we got from one of our clients that uses Data Exchange out in their showroom. And this is all 100% user configured dashboard showing us information that comes off of cobots, as well as sensors and a CNC machine. So they have this out in their showroom, and they're using a cobot for both like car assembly as well as serving kind of Cokes. And if you look there in that top right corner, you can see the amount of Cokes, Diet Cokes, etc., that has been served by this cobot, as well as we have a racetrack where they're using sensor information for how many cars, like if you think like a little Hot Wheels track, have went around that lap, as well as environmental information that can be pulled off of the sensors that I mentioned earlier. So we have a thermocouple pulling temperature information as well as a humidity sensor pulling that information off as well. And then finally, over there in the bottom right corner, we have a CNC machine reporting metrics such as good parts, scrap parts, and some other useful information there as well. So as I said earlier, and I can't stress this enough, everything inside of Scytec DataXchange is 100% user-defined and configurable to your heart's content. So this here is our real-time equipment view. And this image that you see over there on the right with all of the 4 colors that you see here, everything that you see that is represented there can be turned on via the filtering with that image that you see there on the left. And you can get things like utilization percentages, part numbers, good parts, program numbers, work order numbers, parts per hour plan and percentages, scrap parts, as well as who is logged into DataXchange, etc. So everything that you see over there on the image on the right can then populate with that box outline that you see. So we have a Doosan machine that is reporting the specific equipment status, the duration of that specific status, as well as what time it started. So you can also see utilization gauges and the specific pie chart for how much available time you have and what machine statuses have transpired. So with that Doosan machine, we can see that 60% of the available time has been in a low override, 23% has been in an unknown downtime, 9% has no material, and then 1% has been in breaks. So that was our real-time equipment view. So the overall goal of this webinar was to show you the kind of common manufacturing issues and how they are solved with DataXchange. So I thought it would make sense to show you some of the metrics reported from some of the case studies of some of our biggest DataXchange fans. So the first up, we have a aerospace producer for Boeing that increased their utilization by 15 to 20% and also achieved fewer machine stoppages with DataXchange. They increase the awareness of downtime reasons, increase capacity, improve process information by gathering tool usage and probing data from equipment, and they decreased waste, both waste and available time from their personnel. We had a fabricator that produces foam-related products for bedding and carpet cushion, and they also saw decreases in machine downtime, a 10% increase in productivity, a 7% increase in OEE, improvements in availability and employee accountability, improvements in scheduling and communication, visibility into historical trends, and improvements into their daily routine. Finally, we had a job shop that produces parts for Collins Aerospace, Lockheed Martin, and BF Goodrich. And they saw an immediate increase in utilization by 10% right after their successful DataXchange implementation. After further integration into their daily routine with DataXchange by all employment levels, those utilization rates increased by 30%. And they saw increases in productivity, scheduling, and teamwork across all employment levels. They met deadlines for their part production sooner, and they had the ability to make data-driven decisions by exposing machine data and showing bottlenecks in production. And as I said, you can find out all of these case studies online at our Scytec.com website in both written and video form. So I'm going to do a demonstration here, but I just wanted to kind of quickly go over here some things at the end. For those of you that have fabrication machines in your production environment, please check us out at FabTech if you're going to be going to that. We can be found in booth B11015 in the automation hall in the north building. Next up, in terms of webinars, we have at the end of September, we are going to be having a kind of an introductory machine monitoring kind of overview for the people that we meet out at FabTech. And then at the end of October, we are going to be going really in depth into some of our DataXchange case studies for why manufacturers choose DataXchange. And as I mentioned earlier, we are very committed to supporting our DataXchange clients. So if you have any issues with DataXchange, please reach out to our support channels. And we also have our Scytec University website, which can be found at dxhelp.scytec.com. So if you go to that little or a spyglass there, you type in anything that you're looking to get more information on, that'll populate with tutorials, FAQs, and videos as well. This is our help website, Scytec University, so please check that out if you're new to DataXchange and have any questions. So from here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you a quick demonstration of the data display, which is our mobile and browser-based reporting tool. Now, everything Scytec DataXchange related can be found on our DX landing page here. And we have links to the data display, which is our mobile and browser-based reporting tool, as well as the installation for our desktop configuration application, as well as mobile and tablet downloads for data display and our operator data interface, the ODI. So next up here, what I'd like to do is show you our data display launchpad. And this is our data display launchpad where you can see everything is sorted by our charts, our reports, our Excel reports, our real-time equipment views, our save charts, and our save reports, as well as your pre-configured RTV views. So for those of you that have been around with DataXchange for a while, you might be aware that the RTV views can be configured in the desktop application for DataXchange, where you do all your configuration. In an upcoming release for DataXchange, we're going to have the ability to configure your RTV views inside of DataXchange, the data display, which you are looking at here now. And if we go up to the top here, we can see the different grouping. So right now we are grouping everything by format, but if you do this by function, you can see we now have a different layout here for the DataXchange Launchpad, showing the different charts and reports, which you can filter by equipment status, utilization and downtime, parts and work orders, OEE and operation, real time, save charts, etc. And then you can also change the layout as well for columns. So I'm a big fan of doing everything by format and doing the standard layout. Now, as I mentioned earlier, everything inside of Scytec DataXchange can be reported both visually and numerically. So I'm going to show you the same information in our charts and reports, as well as the RTV. So what I'd like to show you here first is our equipment status summary chart. So what we do first to populate this chart is all the different filtering options that we have in Scytec DataXchange. So as you can see here, we can filter by shift groups and the start and stop times and dates for the metrics that you're looking to see presented. So I want to show yesterday's previous metrics for this equipment status summary chart. So I have August 26th to August 27th, a whole day's worth of time. And you can also filter by time zone here. And then this is the most important thing that you want to select, which is your equipment. So on this left-hand column, we have the available equipment, and then we have our selected equipment. So I have a bunch of equipment selected from our Denver location, as well as our Fort Collins location. And then we can also filter our equipment status by general and specific. General is just going to tell you things like planned and unplanned downtime. I'm a big fan of showing things by specific downtime, which we can see things like breaks, etc. And it'll go into more detail about those machine statuses. And you can do filters for part numbers and work orders, and different visual representations of everything. So when we're done with all of our filtering, we can come back up here and click on the little bar chart that you saw there. And this will show us here our equipment status summary chart. And as I said, when you hover over one of these little their colors, this will give you a detailed description of the machine. So this is our Mori machine. And in this specific day that we are looking for, with the available time, that almost 50% of this available time was in normal cycle or cutting. So that'll show you the duration as well. So we were cutting for close to 12 hours there. And that the unknown downtime as well, that gets reported for that DMG Mori machine, shows that we were in an unknown downtime for close to 8.5 hours. And that took up for 35% of the available time. So as I said, over here, We have a little representation of all the different colors and their specific machine statuses that you can find here in this equipment status summary chart. So one of the other things I want to show you here real quick is you do all the filtering and you see the chart that you want. And as I said, we have the ability to save this chart. So you give it a title and a description, and you can save that chart so that it gets populated down here in the save chart. So yesterday we had our equipment status summary with all the reported metrics. From there, we can go back to the filtering, and this chart can then be sent to a bunch of different users, user groups. So you can have this chart sent to you on a recurring basis. So that is our save chart, and it also works with the reports as well too, which you can find here on the data display launchpad. So as I said, everything is presented both visually and numerically. So we were just looking at our equipment status summary chart. Now let's go and look at that as a report. So we have the same time, the same equipment selected. You have some more filtering options as well here. And you can also save that report as well, where it'll populate on the data display launchpad. So if we go up here and we click on this little icon, this will show us all of that same information that I showed you before in the equipment status summary chart, but this time in numerical values with the equipment status summary report. So let's go back out here, and the final thing that I'm going to show you about the data display launchpad is our RTV, which is our real-time viewer, which will show you everything that you need. You know, I want you to think about this like this would be on a TV, where it will cycle through a bunch of different views. So this is our equipment status for a given shift, showing us a equipment status summary chart for a given shift, as well as a timeline chart, as well as an equipment status grid. So these little views that you can configure, as I said, to your kind of heart's content. You can then play these out on a TV, where they will rotate through all the necessary RTV charts and views that you have configured inside of DataXchange to expose this necessary data to solve your shop floor. So that is all of the time that we have here this morning. Thank you for joining us here for this Scytec DataXchange webinar.